temps d'aspiration, il devrait avoir l'avantage. Est-ce qu'on va réussir? On se place à l'intérieur, on se touche!
On a été très patients.
Belle lutte jusqu'à maintenant. Et là,
alors qu'on a un accrochage ici.
On va tenter de croiser, qui n'est pas le meilleur endroit pour dépasser. Oui! Incroyable!
Welcome everybody to the first race of this season for EGT Canada, the EGT Challenge Split 1 at Kyalami. Join with me here, Alex Goldschmidt. So, hello Alex.
Yep. Good evening everybody. It's a pleasure to be on board with EGT Canada. Some fantastic racing in prospect. We're here at the iconic Kyalami Grand Prix circuit that has been hosting the Intercontinental GT Challenge 9 Hours of Kyalami for 4 years over the previous 5, during even the COVID-19 pandemic, but it's the first of 6 rounds. So the drivers are going to have their eyeballs on stalks. We're due to have 46 competitors over pro and silver splits, but qualifying very much underway. And looking at the practice times earlier on, Nathaniel, I was just having a look, and it was Ismail Lebrec in the Honda NSX number 68 that posted the top time of a 1:40.672. Now, I've looked at the track temperatures as well. It's 29 degrees air, 34 degrees track temperature. So this could also be pivotal. You've also got to have that nice balance between power and handling characteristics, especially around a circuit like here at Kyalami.
For sure. And we saw the Honda of Ismail Lebrec, as you said, that was really quick. So we'll have to see how the balance of power, how it'll balance out. The Honda was pretty quick in free practice, so we will see as we're on board with Ismail Lebrec. So yes, as you said, 46 drivers in the split. There are 2 splits in the EGT Challenge series. So we have the split 1 for the pro category, as we see here. So we have 20 drivers, some very quick drivers, as we see, like Patrick Trépanier. We have Kevin Racine, Marc-Antoine Landry, Steve Saint-Ours, some very quick drivers in this split, so it's gonna be very tight between them. And in the silver category for the first split, we have very quick drivers again. Both are gonna be, so there's gonna be 2 standings. There's gonna be a general standings, and there's gonna be a standing only for the silver category, as Ismail Lebrec puts up the second time with a 1:46. So yeah, and new this season compared to last season, every category is gonna be on the track at the same time in qualifying, whereas in the previous season you had a qualifying time session for 15 minutes for the Pro-Am category, and after the last 15 minutes of the session the Pro would go out. Now it's every category on the track at the same time, so 46 drivers on the same time in qualifying. That's it's really difficult to deal with the traffic, Alex.
It is indeed, because you've really got to pick your spot of when to jump in for a new set of tyres, a new regulation for this season. Top 3 at the end of each race in both the pro and the silver categories will be given a balance of performance adjustment per race. So we'll have 30 kilos for the race winner, 20 for P2 and 10 kilos for P3. Now, the thing is that people will say, well, does that increase as the season goes on? No, if you win 2 races on the bounce, so we've had a little bit of
enough.
Yeah, that's Bourdon in the number 54.
And Kevin Racine in the Bentley number 223. What has happened there?
I think possibly about to see, well, I mean, the thing is that in qualifying, Nathaniel, the biggest problem is that track negotiation is where you're going to have to really prove that you can make sure that you can make it work, because you put 40 plus cars on a 20-minute qualifying session, it normally causes bedlam, and that's exactly what we've seen.
Exactly,
and that's within the first
happened.
half of it. So yeah, it's it's going to be interesting how these drivers cope with it all. But then, you know, you look at who was the, you know, we've got the defending champion, Jonathan Bouvin, who's switched allegiance. He's gone from Lexus to Honda this season. So that's going to be an interesting side of things. I still remember, who was it? It was Alex Moisin and Christian Dubé, who were battling away at the season finale at Zandvoort last time, where we had 8 rounds of the championship, but this season it's 6 rounds. And we've got some fantastic tracks, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Kota on the 28th of September, the Hungaroring on the 11th of October, Watkins Glen, new on ACC with the SRO Americas DLC pack on the 25th of October. We go to a home track of mine, Silverstone, on the 8th of November for the penultimate round, and then Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the season finale on the 22nd of November. You know, it's a fantastic calendar, but yeah, like I said earlier, the drivers are going to have to really up their A game. Boivin is going to be pushed all the way, I think, right up until the last checkered flag when we go to Indianapolis.
As we see now, Lebrec got the first time, so a 140.4 as Boivin has a 140.5, so it's very close, a 10th in front of Boivin, as Dubé is not too far behind with a 140.8 in 3rd place. So it should be a really close field. The top 10 R01 in the 2nd. We have Basden in 4th with a 141.0, and 10th we have Mador with a 141.4, so it's about a second that separates the top 10, so it's gonna be really close. As Fournier goes 2nd fastest with a 140.5, and Boivin just pipes him right after, 140.4.
That's crazy. I mean, Boivin, 17 thousandths slower than Lebrec, who's gone nearly 2.5 tenths quicker than his free practice session time, which is a 140.672, 140.435. We're about to hit the halfway session, halfway part of this qualifying session, but the Fournier, you know, this is Porsche South Africa owned territory here, this circuit in real life, which soon will celebrate its 70th anniversary. Well, I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. Yeah, 61st anniversary on the 4th of November this year, because that's when the circuit opened. You know, it's hosted Formula 1, the South African Grand Prix over 20 times. It's hosted the South African Motorcycle Grand Prix, but of course the return for international competition was through the Intercontinental GT Challenge. But yeah, I mean, these drivers are really having to push hard. I mean, we have to say here at EGT Canada, a big thank you to Porsche, Centre Porsche Quebec and Next Level Racing for their support of Season 6 as Lebrec crosses the line once again as we hit the halfway points. Always upped it to a 10th and a half.
He improves it. So a 10th and a half, as you said. He has the best second sector and the best 3rd sector, with Boivin having the best 1st sector. So it's yeah, nice top 3 fight we're gonna have here, Alex, I think.
Yeah, just having a look down at the silver category, currently in the lead at the moment, it is a Porsche, and it is the 227 of David Clément, who is there. The David Midway by last but relaxed, number 227, just making his way through the kink and into the turn 2. Tight left-hander here at Crowthorns. But then you've got one of the other things about Kyalami. For those people on that do watch sim racing, but those that are new to us here at EGT Canada, there is a lot of elevation changes here at Kyalami, especially going through Loikop at turn 10. Then you've got the left-hander at turn 11, down into the mine shaft. And what I love about this circuit is it has corner names. So we're riding on board with David Clément through into turn 6 at Sunset. Oh, gets a bit of a handful, that Porsche, and he loses it.
Yeah. Is he gonna come back on track in front of another car? I believe that's a Lexus of Grenier, I believe, that passed right in. Didn't bother him too much though, fortunately. So he's gonna be back into the pits for now. It's very easy to lose it on the curbs here at Kyalami. You just get, you know, just a tire or two too much deep on the curb, and you can easily lose control, as we've just seen with Clermont.
Yeah, I did see one of the, well, there's a handful of McLarens. I actually saw the number 191 of Gilles Perron who's currently sitting in 31st place at the moment in qualifying, stationary, and that was on the run from Barbecue at turn 5 down to Sunset. We're with Christian Dubé.
We also saw the Mercedes number 10 of Gagnon parked on the sand, so it's quite a tricky qualifying session for these drivers.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the air temperature is cooled by a degree, but Christian Dubé currently, who's running in the silver class this year, or this season, switching to Ferrari, well, keeping in Ferrari power. I think he was in a Ferrari last time around. But yeah, we ride on board at the 488 GT3 Evo, one of the cars that has a twin turbo 3.9 litre V8 pushing out around about 700 Newton meters of torque, but it's mid-engine rear-wheel drive. That's a car that will be very much suited here at Kyalami. Like, say, the Honda, the Porsche. It's a bit of a different kettle of fish, as we saw with Clermont just a few moments ago, getting all tank slapper happy because that's rear-wheel drive, and the biggest problem is, of course, the originator of how the drivetrain is positioned on that car is thanks to the good old Volkswagen Beetle.
Seven minutes left to this session right here. Christian Dubé is just completing his lap. We'll see if he improves. He's currently sitting in 3rd place in silver category, so that's a very good time for him. He's 2/10 away from Clermont, so it's gonna be close. He's got a 141.8 currently, with Clermont sitting at a 141.58. So just coming to the last corner soon. We'll see if he improves his time.
Maxime David's just pipped him for 3rd place in silver. Yeah. The number 90 Honda's just gone up to 15th place on a 141.815, 35 thousandths quicker than Dubé, who crosses the line. Dubé puts in, that was a 142.8, so needs to find a bit more time, does the number 71 from Test Racing.
Won't improve, unfortunately, this time around. As we see, we're on board as Lebrec that's finishing his lap right now. He crosses the line, doesn't improve, but it's still a very good time. He's still in the first in 140.2. So Boivin not finding exactly the time to pipe Boivin to try and get that pole position, as we see him really going wide right here. So Lebrec with 5 minutes left is in a good position to take the first place for the pole position, but there's still a lot of time and anything can happen right here.
Yeah, definitely, Nathaniel. Boivin needs to make up time, especially in the 3rd sector where Lebrec has been mighty. I mean, their best sector times 29.747 for Lebrec and Boivin 29.927. So if he can claw a little bit back there, maybe say just over a tenth and a bit, because he's got a tenth and a half he needs to get past Lebrec for pole position. Another less spotted Mercedes again.
I believe, yeah, that might be the same time again, Gagnon. Now he's in the pits, so but yeah, Boivin this time around it didn't work, obviously going wide and nearly into the grass, so we'll see with the 4 minutes left if he can do something right here. And I believe Fournier has backed off as well. It's not been a good lap for him. He's 1.7 up on his delta, so he also needs to find a bit more pace if he wants to be on the front row right here.
Yeah, 100%. One of the other interesting things is that obviously we've got a 20-minute all-out qualifying for both Pro and Silvers, but one of the good things is the 60-minute sprint race, there is a mandatory pit stop where the drivers have to put in at least 1 litre of fuel. But the good thing is, Nathaniel, there is only it's an open pit stop window, which basically means that the drivers can run the cars for as long as they decide, and if they saved a set of tyres, which I'm sure that pretty much all of the field will have done, to keep everything sharp on the car. You know, you want to go out, and even if you put in a little bit of fuel, you want to have some fresher tyres just to get that initial pace. But the biggest thing is that those tyres, when you come out of pit road, are going to be cold. You're going to need to get them up to temperature. You could come out into a battle, as we've got another yellow flag out on track. and there are a few changes. I've just seen the 917. That's of, I'm just trying to make out who that is. That is Tommy Landry in the 917 Bentley, who's gone up to 22nd, but Clermont still holds on to that silver opening pole position of the season as Valet has parked the Audi in the #1 car.
Interesting thing here, Lebrec and Boivin both at the speed trap, both have the same speed, 236 kilometers. So very cars both on the limit. They're both very pushing the limit right here, but Lebrec might just have the upper hand right here.
Yeah, I think he's, as soon as he put in that 1 minute 40.297, that is nearly 4/10 quicker than his practice time earlier on. You know, just the speed of the car, but more importantly here, Nathaniel, it's a Honda 1-2 at the moment, so it's a Honda NSX potential front row lockout.
And as we have David Bélanger that moves up to 4th position with a 140.7. So Laurence Dubé is going to be reelected to 5th here unless he can improve his time, which is not happening at the moment. He backed off for this lap. So yeah, with 2 minutes left, David Bélanger putting himself in a very good position. David Bélanger obviously being a very experimented driver here in the EGT Canada. He's a coach. So for the newcomers, the up-and-newcomers that are coming into the community, in the league, he coaches new drivers regularly to get them up to speed and help them basically be competitive, be more competitive with their driving. So very experienced driver with the EGT Canada organization. Very good driver, obviously, as goes a bit wide, and that's going to be qualifying done for him. Unfortunately.
I have to give a shout out to Patrick Fournier, one of our EGT Canada podcast hosts, along with Alain Lyon. So, salut à tous. Sorry, I had to get that quick French quip in there. But yeah, I mean, it's great to see a lot of the community that are involved within EGT Canada, and to, you know, sort of like last minute having a chat with Julien earlier on this week, and he said, "Oh, are you available?" I was like, "Yeah, look, I don't care about the time zone here in the United Kingdom, but we're down to the last 35 seconds in quali. We're on board with Boivin, who still is trying to, well, he's gotten a little bit closer. The gap is less than 1/10.5 between him and Ismail Lebrec in the battle for pole position. Meanwhile, Maxime David has gotten into second in the silver class.
Second place with a 141.6. That's very good. He's a 10th away from Clermont's time. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see if he can pipe Clermont for the first place in the silver category. Clermont's qualifying is over. He's in the pits, so David has another lap, and he's up on his delta right now. He's a 10th up, so he may improve here as he goes a bit wide. Doesn't quite exactly get the apex and loses control, and oh, he keeps it out of the barrier. He just keeps it out of the barrier. How did he do that?
That was through the S's of all places, but also in the meantime, the 711 of Antoine Landry in the Lamborghini Huracan, and also Landry, Marc-Antoine Landry, and I think also who else? Michael Formato in the Porsche 911 progressed up to 7th and 8th in qualifying. Guillaume Ador across the line, P9, but it's Ismail Lebrec that takes the overall pole position. And David Clermont in silver.
Yeah, first pole sitter of the season, Ismail Lebrec. Very, very quick in those last two sectors. So it's gonna be interesting to see in the race how if he keeps that race pace same as his qualifying pace, because we have a difference of fuel obviously in the car. That's gonna play a role, and obviously the strategy, as he said earlier, it's gonna play a massive role here. Different strategies are gonna be used by drivers. Some drivers are gonna try to pit earlier to get some free air, while some are gonna try and make their way up the field. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Different strategies, and it's gonna be the first time some of the pilots in silver have a pit stop that they have to do, because before in the silver and the amateur category, you did not have to do a pit stop in their 30-minute sprint. So now moving up to obviously split one, which is split one silver, which is the equivalent of Pro Am in the big previous seasons. They have to do a pit stop, so it's gonna be the first time for some of these drivers. We'll have to see what strategy they use. So that's gonna be very interesting to see.
100%. 100% then, Nathaniel. I think that's what's going to be key, because you've got several things to manage. You've got to manage the fuel, you've got to manage the tyre deck, because with Kyalami, you've got a lot of sideways lateral movement, especially going through the corners. You know, like say for instance, going down the main straightaway into the kink, flat out right hand kink, straight into a hard braking zone. You're pretty much going into first or second gear, into the left at Crowthorns. Jux K sweep, it's uphill, and you're changing momentum, so you're going left, right, left. It's another left at Barbecue. Talking of that corner, it always, whenever I commentate on Kyalami, it always makes me feel like I want to have something to eat when I see that. But there's also the animal references as well, because obviously it's based in the Gauteng province. And people are hoping that one day Formula One will return to this circuit. I hope it certainly does, because it'd be definitely great to see. But then, you know, going through into Sunset, it's a very, very poignant name, because the thing is, depending on how low the sun gets, these drivers are going to have to cope with peripheral vision changes as well. Up to Clubhouse, then it's a dip down through the S's, up to Loikop, then down Mineshaft, which is pretty hairy, 240, 245 clicks, 6th gear. You're hard on the brakes into the Crocodiles, which is turn 13. And then into the next left-hander at turn 14. But then the biggest corner that I always know at Kyalami has an inside sausage curve. That's turn 15, the right-hander at Cheetah. And if people aren't careful, they're going to be doing two wheels in the air like Kit, Knight Rider, ski mode all over. And it can actually sometimes make them exit stage left, possibly take out another car that might be avoiding and running off the circuit. But then Ingwe is going to be a pretty good opportunity if people line it up coming out of Cheetah, get up the inside, get a good run out of that final corner, down the start-finish straight, side by side. The run to the line to turns 1 and 2 in this 60-minute race is going to be crucial. You can't win it on the first lap, but you can lose it.
Definitely, and as you were talking about Cheetah turn 15, yeah, very tricky to get right. You have to get the right point of entry into that corner, otherwise you hit the sausage curb and you go wide, or you enter the corner too wide and you end up going on the grass anyway. So it's a very tricky corner right there, and if you don't get it right, you can get easily overtaken down the inside of Ingwe in the last corner. So very tricky circuit indeed. As we see our starting grid, so we have starting grid overall. We have Ismail Lebrec on pole position with a 140.297, with Boivin in second place with a 144. Patrick Fournier with a 140.5 in third place. David Bélanger in fourth place. Laurence Dubé in 5th place. In 6th place is going to be Baisden. 7th place, Formato. 8th, Marc-Antoine Landry. 9th, Guillaume Ador. And completing our top 10, it's going to be Kevin Racine. And for our silver category, and so in first position, we have David Clermont with a 141.5. So it's not that far away from the pro category. It's about a second, and there are some pro drivers mixed up and in the mix of the silver. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they decide to fight the silver. If the silver decide to fight the pro drivers, that's gonna be interesting to see as well. But it's not that far off pace-wise. So.
Yeah, I completely agree. Right, let's get involved with some of you people in the YouTube chat. A very, very good evening. Melissa Toussaint saying go number 3. Of course, she's cheering on Patrick Fournier. Boss is saying go Kevin Racet. So there is people out there with us. Thank you very much for joining us here on the live stream on YouTube. It's a pleasure to have you all along with us. Interesting statistic. Top 31 drivers rounded out by the McLaren 720S GT3 of the number 76 in silver, Jeremy Schneider, covered by just a fraction over 2 seconds. That's how close it is, and we're not too far away from the session getting started. 60 minutes, mandatory pit stop, 1 litre of fuel going in. And what it looks like, we're going to have a full formation lap of this Kyalami circuit. And from my perspective, it's a great way to kickstart the season. The circuit in length is 2.814 miles, 4.529 kilometers. The race lap record set by Matt Campbell in the Porsche 911 GT3R back in 2020 was a 1 minute 42.021, and Ismail Abrek was pretty much close to being 2 seconds quicker in that effort. But when you think about it, the way that the cars have evolved with the Assetto Corsa Competizione, bringing on new DLC, new changes for the cars, new patches, we could see that this season. It could make a very, very interesting championship. But with the way things stand, the first race is going to be an interesting one. We're going to have some trials and tribulations along the way here, Nathaniel. But 60 minutes of racing awaits here at Kyalami. I can't wait until we get the green flag waving and the guys head their way down to the kink at turn 1 before the hard braking zone into the left-hander at Crowthorne.
Yeah, and can you tell us a bit why this formation lap is really important to set up the race for these drivers to get up the car in temperature and everything?
Well, you want to make, well, as the famed Mr. Le Mans, Tom Christensen, once said in Truth in 24, you want to have your weapons sharp. That means brake temperature, tyre temperature. If you go into it and your tyres are not up to temp, your brakes are not up to temp, you're going to have to be compromised. And what that can then do is provide what I like to call the accordion effect. Everything closes up. Expect what could happen here. The front straightaway here, Nathaniel, is wide enough. I've seen races in community leagues here in GT3 go 4, 5 wide going through the kink and into Crowthorns. But in this turn 1, you've got to manage it correctly. You've got to brake at the right points. These drivers on their heads-up displays, on their screens, maybe even the speedometer, sometimes some people even have the realistic display right in front of the steering wheel. So that's going to be crucial. They'll know that the tyres are in the window. If they're green, they're in temperature. And that means that the heat that permeates from the tyres will go through the alloy wheels into the brake discs and calipers and provide that welcome need of full adhesion to this circuit. It's 16 turns, it's just over 4.5 kilometers. I can't wait.
Cool. The drivers are going to have to be really careful on Crowthorne, as you said, in turn 2. Don't want to overshoot it. You don't want to brake too late, especially if you're in the mid-pack, because that can cause a big accident, obviously, especially with 46 cars on the grid. Yeah, it can be it can be quite chaotic. And if you're at the front of the grid, you don't want to overshoot it as well, because you're gonna get cut back easily down the inside of the exit of the corner. So you have to manage it well. As we see, Lebrec and Boivin are front runners going down the start lane, and the Reds are here. We go green in Kyalami. Thanks for being with us in EGT Canada. Very good start by Lebrec. Boivin's up the outside. Brakes a bit later. There's a bit of contact as they're both side by side going into the 5th corner, and Lebrec's gonna stay in first. Very good start by Lebrec. A bit of contact. And a as we see further down the grid, it seems to be a clean start from pretty much everybody.
Keep your eyes on Fournier in the third place Porsche. He's really on the back bumper of Boivin as they go through the exit of Sunset, now into the left-hander here at Clubhouse. They're now going to go this is going to be this very, very quick sort of like roller coaster sort of ride. We have got a yellow flag out because there was a car, I think. Yeah, so the yellow flag's been retracted, so that car's got back underway again. Fournier,
It was
Dubé
here. It was Dubé and Landry and that were involved with the yellow flag.
Yeah, so I think the thing is that Fournier, if he runs with a heavier fuel load in that Porsche, it's going to. I mean, the good thing is the Porsche is going to have a little bit of an advantage here. The reason I say that is because of the fact that the engine is over the rear axle, so that is going to hunker the rear wheels down onto the asphalt. But then when you look at cars like the Mercedes, they're going to have a little bit of an advantage for late braking. So are the BMWs. Moisat is the highest placed BMW down in 12th position overall, and actually rounding out what is a top 12 lockout for the Pro class, with Clément battling away with Danick Vallée in the number 1 Audi for the silver class lead. But Lebrec has already got a comfortable lead over Boivin, and that gap is over just under half a second as they go into Crowthorns, up the hill through the Jux K sweep once again. But we've got another yellow flag out. Right, I've just seen that Bilodeau in the number 7 car, Jean-François Bilodeau in the Audi R8 is in the pit lane, and there's Loranger running in the Jensen Button. Yeah.
Lots of damage here to the front of his car. I wonder what happened with Loranger, if we're going to be able to see. There was a bit of contact. We're going to have a replay here of what happened with Loranger. Ooh, he just loses it, doesn't he? Oh, and he collects... Ooh. He collects the Audi number 956 right there. 956, that's Vincent Roy. So, yeah, unfortunate start of the race right here for... As Boivin's gone up into first place. Unfortunately, we've missed what happened, and Fournier's down the inside of Lebrec, and he's going to take the position. It's going to be side by side going down the straight. The Honda is much quicker in the straight line, however... Lebrec is gonna come back in front of Fournier, so Boivin is in the lead. Fournier dives down the inside.
That's very close.
Lebrec keeps it on the outside, and yeah, keeps the position. Yeah, sorry.
Boulanger and Landry are catching up. Hassan is running at the top 6, so there is a train starting to form behind Ismail Lebrec for second position. So now Boivin has got into the lead. He's cantered away already. I think that gap is going to be quite substantial.
Yeah, this benefits.
1.3 seconds is Boivin's lead at the moment over Lebrec.
Yeah, this benefits him massively. 1.4 seconds now, so this battle between Fournier and Lebrec just sent... Oh, and there's contact! Oh, massive contact, and Landry's just been run into as well. Oh, we're gonna have to see what happened there. I believe Fournier was down the inside trying for a move, and it just didn't work out, and he spins, and yeah, I believe Fournier's race is gonna be over. Oh yeah, my gosh, what happened there?
I did actually catch what happened there, Nathaniel. Going into Crowthorns, Boulanger actually tapped the back left and it spun Fournier around, and then everyone just clattered in. Landry, Rassin, and Fournier had, well, was not a willing passenger in that particular accident. The Porsche sustained heavy damage, and Patrick has unfortunately returned to garage. That means his race is over.
As we'll see here, what has happened. So, brakes a bit later, Fournier, a bit wide. Oh, it's just, yeah, the Penta that attacks him. And, yeah, everyone else collided after that, so very unfortunate end to his race for Fournier, unless he's going back out, which he may do. But yeah, that's very unfortunate for Fournier. He was running into, well, battling for second place with Lebrec. And yeah, it's Boulanger that tagged him, so yeah, the stewards are gonna have to take a look at that unfortunate accident. In lap 2 of this race, as Lebrec has pulled away 4.4 seconds in front of Boulanger. Yeah, as we see Dubé putting the pressure on Formato. with Moisin not far behind, goes in the inside. Formato's gonna keep the place, and now it's Dubé's gonna be under pressure by Moisin going down here, but he's gonna keep it in front for now as Moisin runs a bit wide. So we have a nice train of car going around here as Landry goes down the inside of Jean-Luc Marchand and takes the position up to 11th place after being caught up into the accident for Landry.
Yep, and that's not a battle for. Oh, Landry completely sideways going through into the S's.
Nice car control there to not lose it.
He needs a new change of underwear after that moment there, I think. He'll probably be checking himself, but keep your eyes on Marchand just behind. David running at the top 3 in the silver class, and they ran at the top 13 overall, but Clément is well ahead in the 227 Porsche, catching up on Alexis Moisin, but you know, again, that's not a battle for position. This is for leading the silver class, and he started things off on the best foot. He started in 13th overall. He now rounds out the top 10 overall, and he's got a gap over Jean-Paul Marchand at the minute.
As we see, that's Moisin that went off with the 1-4 of Jean-Luc Marchand. Oh, and the McLaren, who is that? Just avoiding, I believe that was Prudhomme. Oh my. Again, another accident. So the first lap was clean. The 2 next lap, and now just comes back on the track, tries to defend against the Audi, but cuts him in front of him. Ooh, very messy. We're gonna have to take a look at what happened here. Again, another accident, taking out multiple cars here.
Yeah, that was Vincent Roy in the 956 Audi that went up the inside of Marchand. Marchand got a turnaround. You know, the thing is that when you have a rejoin, that's one of the biggest things. If you're rejoining the circuit, you've also, because I also saw the fact that Moisin got tagged by Marchand after they had their coming together. So I think Marchand's going to have a few I think he's going to have a few reports thrown to race control on that front.
Here, we'll take a look at what happened. Oh, he was already turned around, so that was before what happened. Oh, and he just...
Yeah. Insult to injury for Moisin there.
So he was already turned around. Unfortunately, doesn't seem like we're gonna get the replay of what happened before that. Very unfortunate, but yeah. And
that BMW needs repair.
That you have Moisin down in to 13th place, 30th place. I mean. Now, yeah, he's gonna have to come into the pits. Unfortunately for him, he's gonna running with a lot of damage. Yes, see, it's very hard to control. Goes wide into the grass here, so he's no doubt gonna have to pit. As Ismail Lebrec has the fastest lap with a 141.167, and his last lap is a 1.41.175. So. Very consistent here, Lebrec, and he's slowly catching up Boivin as 1.5 now to Boivin, but we may be shaping up for a few laps for a nice battle as Dubé still putting on the pressure in Formato, even with all the madness that happened in front of him. Still putting on the pressure.
Yeah, I mean, Lebrec is fastest overall in the second sector. He was well over 1.5 tenths quicker in sector 1, but then lost a little bit of time in sector 3 to Boivin. Boivin keeping that gap very, very equal at the moment. You know, the pendulum hasn't swung in the complete favour of one driver or another, and we're only a sixth of the way through. Dubé up the inside of
yeah. Very close there, and they're side by side.
This is going to be a bit hairy going into mineshaft and then the hard braking zone into the next right-hander, but Formato's still got the edge on the Ferrari. Dubé goes to the outside. That's a bit brave there.
He's going to have the inside, I believe. Oh, or
no, he won't, because
no,
Formato kept it nice and tidy through Cheetah there as they go through into Ingwe. Dubé could go for the the over-under, and he's got the inside line. They're going to pull out of the final corner at Ingwe, but that Porsche has got the legs on the Ferrari for the minute, but Dubé has got the slipstream.
Very nice defensive driving by Formato right here. We're going to see into turn 2 how he's going to come out in front as Dubé goes deep on the brakes on the outside. He's going to take the position. Formato comes back. He's going to be side by side, but eventually Dubé is going to keep the position, and yeah, that's the overtake done for Dubé. Very nice move right there. Deep on the brakes and managed to stay in front of Formato. As
that was brave. That was very, very brave indeed. I mean, Formato kept it pinned, had a better run coming out of Crowthorns, but Dubé just had the pace. There's Marc-Antoine Rondery closing in on them. You know, despite that second corner incident involving Patrick Fourier a few moments ago, you know, the 711 Zealous Motorsports Lamborghini Huracan GT3 is closing, and he has got some pace. Landry was, okay, get this, quicker by nearly 1.2 seconds from Formato. Dubé was nearly 0.8 of a second slower. So whilst they've been battling away, Landry has closed on in, and he's got an opportunity maybe to get 2 for the price of 1, but I don't think it's going to happen here. He's just going to wait and bide his time. There's Clermont just behind the silver class leader. So we're 11, nearly 12 minutes through in this race so far, Nathaniel. There has been, I did say that you could lose it in the first lap. Well, we did have a couple of first lap incidents, but it sort of all kicked off from about lap 3 when that incident unfortunately showed the demise of Patrick Fourier. I'm just going to have a look down the timing to see if he's actually rejoined. And Fourier is out on track. I'm just spotting him going through Loikop as we speak, and he's currently down in 40th position.
As Landry goes down the inside of Formato and takes the position, so that's Landry up into 7th position. Very nice move down the inside. Landry wants to be a part of this party between Formato and Dubé, and he's making his place right here, and he's gonna catch up to Dubé soon. So even though he's got a bit of damage on his Lamborghini, he's still got some pace.
Yeah, I mean, even though it shares the same drivetrain as the Audi R8 LMS, it's a very, very different animal in terms of its aerodynamic properties. You know, you've got a more angular, aggressive styling on that Lamborghini, whereas the Audi looks a bit more usual in terms of how an Audi is normally designed.
Yeah. As further down the field, we have a nice train of car here led by Jael Perrin in the silver class here. So we have Jael Perrin in the McLaren, followed by Lepointe, Marchand, and David. Marchand was obviously in that accident with Moisin. Moisin is in 34th place right now. Is he still out, or he had to pit? Yeah, he had to pit, obviously, with the damaged car. So he's gonna be making his way up. 46-minute, long way to go for him. But yeah, we have a nice train of cars here. Same thing for 11th place, as we have actually Baudry's closing up real fast on Généreux de Guise. He's gonna have the slipstream down the straight here in the Lexus. Very powerful car down the straight. Very beautiful livery, by the way, for Baudry, I must say. He's gonna... Will he be close enough to make a move? He's gonna try the inside. Généreux de Guise is very generous. Oh, that was Saint-Ours completely locked up and went into the wall there. Ooh.
Oh, that Mercedes is going to be smarting at the front end, despite having that.
Just went straight on, didn't he?
I'm wondering if Saint-Ours actually had a technical problem. I've seen it before in other leagues where someone's had a brake pedal failure, or whether his game has crashed or had a disconnect. That can sometimes cause problems, and that car is not moving. So I think
sitting there, yeah.
Yeah, I think that Saint-Ours race possibly done and dusted there, unfortunately, and that was straight on at Crowthorns. No movement at all from the vehicle.
As we have Gagnon in the grass. And here there might have been a contact. We'll see what happened with Gagnon for... As we... Oof. Oh. Just didn't leave him any space, did he? It's gonna be to the stewards that we're gonna judge. I believe that was the Bentley of Kevin Racine. Yeah, that was the Bentley of Kevin Racine, the number 223 car. So yeah, down the inside, Gagne was up onto the curb, and Racine on the outside, and closed up a bit on him, and Gagne spun after the contact, unfortunately, as for the 17th position here, Balik is chasing down Danik Valet here. As one car's into the pits. That's the Ferrari of Christian Dubé here. We have Steve Santos obviously still in the pits after that accident, so he's back onto the pits actually. He didn't stay there too long, fortunately. So we'll have to see where Christian Dubé comes out. He's going to be pretty much at the back of the pack. But he's going to have his pit stop done, obviously. So he's going to be at the back of the pack, but once everyone does their pit stops, that's where it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, Lapointe and David also in the pit lane, so drivers taking the opportunity to get some clear air, as you pointed out earlier on, Nathaniel, but 16 minutes and 40 seconds in, it's still Boivin leading the way by, well, look at Lebrec, he's closed the gap to 7/10 of a second, and now he's within earshot. So I think for the battle for the race lead, it's very much clearly on as they come out of Ingwe. So we're about to complete our 10th lap of this 4.5 kilometre circuit here at Kyalami. Lebrec's gap now, it's down another couple of tenths, down to 0.446 of a second. Lebrec last time around was nearly 3/10 quicker, and he made up that time predominantly in sector number 2. He was nearly 1.2 seconds quicker than, well, nearly, well, no, not 2. What am I doing? My maths is going all over the place at the minute. Probably the best part of nearly 3/10 of a second quicker.
And now it's down to 3/10 a gap, so we're really chasing down Lebrec on Boivin for after he lost out in the second lap. But it's gonna be interesting to see if he can't pass him in the next few laps. Is he gonna try to do an undercut here and try to pit maybe a bit earlier and try to overtake Boivin with the strategy, or he's gonna try to do it on track? And how is Boivin gonna react to that as well? Is he gonna try and defend against Lebrec, so potentially losing some time, or he's gonna pit here? So we're 19 minutes into this race, 18 minutes should I say. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out and how both drivers react to the other, but the battle for first is definitely on right here.
I probably would imagine that Boivin could be on a different fuel strategy. Lebrec's got the pace, so might have a lighter fuel load, maybe try and pit a little bit earlier, get some fresh boots on that Honda NSX GT3 Evo and get ahead of Boivin. But the thing is that the pit stops, if you're taking on a full set of tyres, is 30 seconds, and that can you can refuel at the same time as well on Assetto Corsa Competizione. So your fuel window is not going to be impeded, because you know for a fact that, well, I'm going to be stuck in the pit lane for probably the best part of just over a minute, because I'll have a 30-second tyre change. And also, one of the things these drivers have to watch out for is speeding in the pit lane, because automatically, if you speed in the pit lane, it's a stop go 30.
You don't want that. And also, when you come out of the pit lane after that really long pit stop, and you have to watch out where you come out, because there's a lot of drivers in this race. So 41 drivers currently on the track, so you have to watch out where you come out to see if, because if you come out in traffic, you're gonna lose even more time. So these drivers have to watch out for that. Obviously, they don't have race engineers like some motorsports team in real life do to tell them to box. But yeah, that also comes into play definitely. You don't want to lose too much time battling traffic after having pitted.
Yep. Yellow flags out again. I think that was for the 227 of Clermont that time, who still is holding on. 9th place overall, leading in silver. Baudry running at the top 11, second in silver class, and then we've We've also got Stéphane Thibaudot rounding out the top 13 in the number 33 Honda. So 3 different brands in the top 3 in silver, but at the moment it's still a Honda 1-2 with Labrec closing in on Boivin for the overall race lead. 20 minutes elapsed, less than 40 to go. Lap 12 now in the books, gap to just over 3.5 tenths of a second. I think Labrec, by the way he's driving this car, Nathaniel, he is winding up for an attack on Boivin, but look what they've got up ahead. There's back marker traffic in the not too distant future for these 2 Hondas.
Yeah, we see, I believe it's a BMW, maybe Moisin actually, that's in front of him. Yeah, that's Alexis Moisin in the pro category, obviously. So he doesn't want to be too slowed down by these 2 battling, so I'm sure he'll give way pretty quickly and try to follow them, actually. Moisin, I know Alexis Moisin has speed, he has pace when he's on his day. Very quick driver, especially in his BMW, his favorite car. So, with the nice cool taint livery here. So he can be very quick on his day. Unfortunately got caught up in an accident, but he was running in the top 10, you must remember. So he's got pace. So he may try to let them go and try to follow them. That's the best he can do, obviously. Don't want to keep the 2 leaders behind for too long, and you want to try to catch the pack as quickly as possible, as Loranger is in the pits. We'll have to see if he wants to do repairs. But yeah, Gagno's down the road. It's a good 30 seconds from him. But he's done his pit stop, obviously, having repaired the car, so he doesn't have to do another, as Boivin has now a bigger gap to Labrec. It's now up to 1 second, so it's not gonna be there right now for Labrec, as it's Loranger coming out of the pits, actually, causing some trouble for Labrec, going a bit wide to try and let them through. And we're gonna have a nice battle now with, I believe, Loranger coming out of the pits just in front of Moisin. Oh no, Moisin went by and pretty clear. Okay, I thought he went behind. He was still behind Loranger. No, he came out behind Moisin. So and for 12th place we have Thibaudot putting some pressure on General de Guise. So. He's on the back of that BMW, nearly wants to see what's inside of that car, but General de Guise gets a good corner exit. Gonna try to build a gap a tiny bit with Baudry in front in the Lexus, maybe giving him a tad of slipstream, but he's very much on pressure by Thibaudot here.
General de Guise actually lost the back end ever so slightly coming through turn 2 at Crowthorns, and that nearly gave Thibaudot the opportunity to go up the inside. And if Thibaudot gets past General de Guise, then that gives Thibaudot an opportunity to close on Baudry for second place in silver. So it is heating up. I mean, I'm just looking at the lap times. Last time for Baudry, 1 minute 42.8. Thibaudot, 1 minute 43.2. Probably a little bit compromised by General de Guise on the previous lap. You can see that Honda's closing on that BMW. And I love the livery on that BMW. Very much a herald back to the 1990s when BMW were one of the tour de forces in super touring cars back in those days, with the likes of Johnny Cicotto, Marcus Winkelhock. So nice to see a nice little livery there on the BMW M4. The visuals of that kidney grille have always divided opinion, both on the road car and the race car.
Yeah, but it's sure now with this livery, it's sure great to look at, I must say. Thibaudot flashing his lights behind. So, putting some pressure just in the mirrors of General de Guise, letting him know he's there. General de Guise actually runs out wide coming out of turn 2, so it's gonna put Thibaudot right behind General de Guise. Again, General de Guise going wide into the grass, so he's right behind. Is he gonna be close enough for a move? Not quite. Obviously a very fast corner right here.
Well, General de Guise going wide, going through Sunset. I mean, Thibodeau had, I think, nearly had both barn doors on the farm opened up well and truly there, but General de Guise just keeping that BMW in check. I mean, you don't want to be running wide. I mean, it's difficult at the best of times to overtake up the inside of Sunset. It's a bit like Murray's corner. Well, not Murray's corner. It's the second corner at Mount Panorama. Very, very much the same sort of approach into it. You're going into it. You're actually having to dab the brakes a little bit, drop it down a gear, and then turn the car in, hope it sticks and rotates into the corner. But Thibodeau getting a bit closer, going through turns 13 and 14 at the Crocodiles before heading into Cheetah. I think Thibodeau is just measuring the situation. He's not. The good thing about Thibodeau's driving style, I don't sense any frustration with the way that the Honda's handling at the moment.
He's very patient behind.
It's the best way to be. That really is the best way to be in a 60-minute race when you've got to have a mandatory pit stop. But one of the other things I've noticed here, Nathaniel, is that we started with 30 degrees track temperature. As here goes Thibodeau, showed his nose to General de Guise, looks up the inside through Crowthorns. General de Guise keeps it tight on the apex through the second corner, up the Jux K-sweep once again. Both cars line astern. Through turns 3 and 4, into the braking zone, into Barbecue, turn 5, the left-hander that brings them on the short run down to Sunset at turn 6. But again, Thibodeau is using that slipstream. What this is going to help him with, I think Thibodeau could be playing a little bit of a strategy game against Baudry. And the reason why I say that is that he's just staying behind General de Guise and he's not having to use full throttle. That's a great fuel-saving tactic around a circuit as demanding here like Kyalami.
Sure, yeah, he's in the slipstream, keeping the slipstream, so he's gonna use less throttle, obviously, and yeah, his fuel is gonna go down slower, so he's saving a lot of fuel right here, and ooh, maybe having a look down the outside, obviously not gonna work. He's gonna have a good exit right here. But yeah, Thibodeau playing, ultimately maybe trying to play some strategy, as you said, on Baudry, and Baudry's not that far away, obviously. Oh, and now, now Thibodeau, I think, is tired of waiting, dives down the inside, is gonna generate the Guise, leaves in the space, he's gonna have the inside for the next corner. Oh, he runs out wide on the grass, though! Is that gonna give General de Guise? Oh, he's gonna come in the pits.
Well, that's gonna give a track cut first of all. I mean, the thing is, you have 3 track cuts. Yeah. The 4th one gives you an instant drive-through penalty. So Thibodeau, you know, thought, well, I'm going to go for it. No, I'm not. I'm going to go into the pit lane. And then he goes, oh, crap. I've gone to the outside of the circuit. That's not what he wanted to do. But if he changes tyres now, that Honda will be working well. But we still got Boivin and Labrec at the front of the field. Half a second was the gap. There's Nicolas and Balik. This is battling away for 5th in the silver class, so it's Aston Martin versus Mercedes. Not too far between them, so Nicolas is the highest placed Mercedes AMG GT3 Evo, and they've got Schneider. Now Schneider is started down in 31st position, and it now is P14 overall, and what's more, P4 in silver. Great job.
Morancy right there, I believe. Yeah, he went into the wall. I believe he's gonna have some damage to the left side of his car. Yes, he does. I don't know. Can we see what happened with Morancy? Unfortunately, maybe right. Yeah, we're gonna have to see what happened with Morancy.
Behind General de Guise there.
Yeah, ooh, he just loses it, doesn't he? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a hit.
That's quite a big hit, and yeah, just loses it going too wide, touches the grass, and unfortunately hits the wall right here. He was really putting pressure on General de Guise. General de Guise dropping back, not having the greatest of pace right now. 145.8 for General de Guise when Morancy's last lap is a 143.4. So General de Guise's pace right now is not that good. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I've actually just seen in the YouTube chat here. Yeah, I thought it was a technical problem. Wheel disconnect for Santos. that's why he went straight on at turn 2 at Crowthorns earlier.
Very unfortunate end to his race for Saint-Ours, as with Bovin still leading on with Lebrec not too far behind.
Yep, so we are past half time on the on the race itself. Race 1 out of 6 for season 6 of the EGT Canada EGT3 Challenge. First of 6 rounds, which will take us all the way through to November, so just a shade over 2 months. Every race will be every 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll be heading from South Africa to the Lone Star State in Texas and Circuit of the Americas for round 2. But at the moment, Boivin and Labrec still battling away over the overall lead. Gap between them is around about 0.6 of a second. Boivin has upped the pace to nearly a tenth quicker than Labrec on the previous lap and still holds that lead steadily here as they go through into what will be turn 7 at Clubhouse. Now through into the S's at turns 8 and 9, down the dip, and both the Hondas working very, very well indeed. 3.5 litre V6 turbo engine cars, the road car having 3 turbochargers, but obviously with GT3 regulations they had to be adapted to fit within the current spec. So the good thing is Boivin at the moment is comfortably leading, but again him and Labrec are closing in on more back marker traffic up ahead. This is not going to be easy over the next 28 minutes here, Nathaniel.
Well, they tried to pit before making contact with those back markers. They don't want to lose too much time, obviously, and they don't want to create an opportunity for the other driver to make a move. So we'll have to see if they try to pit to avoid making contact with those back markers, who are obviously past the halfway point of this race. So there's quite a few drivers who are gonna pit soon, and there are some drivers who's gonna pit at the very last minute. We've seen it in the previous seasons. They're gonna try to extend their stint the maximum time possible, and as we see, the Mercedes of Gagnon, he's gonna get out of the way pretty easily. He's sitting on the outside, actually, on the racing line, so Boivin has to go down the inside, and that gives Labrec a nice run on Boivin. He's not quite close enough to be in the slipstream as he goes wide into the grass right here. We've seen quite a few cars do that, but yeah, some drivers are, as I was saying, some drivers are gonna try to extend their stint to a maximum. We've seen it a lot during these previous season, especially the front runners. They're gonna try to pit at the last minute, try to extend, because they're running in the free air, obviously, being at the front with, not a lot of battling going on. So they're gonna pit at the last minute and try to obviously come out in a favorable position, and being in free air, obviously you have a lot of good pace instead of being in the midfield and battling out. Those midfield drivers are probably gonna choose to pit more earlier into the race to get some free air by doing that. It's usually
Gap now down to just under 0.4 of a second between the top two. I'm just keeping an eye on the gap between Labrec and Belanger. Belanger and the number 22 Bentley, who was involved with that incident with Patrick Fourier a little bit earlier on. Gap now has extended to over 16 seconds between, well, just literally on the bubble. 16 seconds between Labrec and...
What a performance by these two. 16 seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting from that aspect, but I think that Boivin and Labrec just want to pull away, have their own battle. They're going to pit at the same time. I can sort of see it in the pace. Boivin that last time around was just under a tenth slower than Labrec, who's closed that gap to less than 0.4. I think it's even less as they go through the S's. Labrec touches the curbs a bit more than Boivin going through into turn number 8. And, well, the thing is that I'm just keeping an eye on the battle for the silver class lead. Clermont versus Baudry, Porsche versus Lexus. Gap between them, well, it's probably the best part of 7.5 seconds between Clermont and Baudry, and Clermont currently running in the 1 minute 43s. Baudry, well, both in the mid 143s. There's Baudry at the moment, who's got, I think that is the 497, Michael Michaud, not too far behind in the 497 BMW M4 GT3, now the highest placed BMW out of anybody, with the old Liqui-Moly livery on there, using old Turner Motorsport livery there, I see. So good to see that livery represented in the championship. But yeah, Michaud just wants to, I think, might want to get past Clermont and Baudry, because well, there's an Audi just up ahead, but that'll be one of the back markers. But I think Michaud's next target will be Michael Formato in the number 200 Porsche, rounding out the top 8 overall.
Yeah, obviously Michaud here wants to get past Baudry as soon as possible, being a pro class driver. Baudry being a silver class driver, probably has more pace currently than Baudry, being maybe a bit held up, so he wants to pass him as soon as possible to catch up to Formato. He's still got Clermont as well in 9th place. He's got to clear him as well before getting to Formato. Not a great exit though by Michaud, I must say. Quite a bit far the gap to Baudry, so not a good exit of Ingwe for Michaud, but he's gonna catch up pretty soon, I feel. We have another Lexus in front of Baudry. I believe that's his teammate. Is it? Yeah, it's Max Baudry. So that's I don't know if they're family. They probably are.
I would imagine they're probably more than likely brothers or something like that. So if anyone could give us that information, that would be well and truly appreciated. I always see, it's nice when you see brothers in the same competitive league, but yeah, that's Max Baudry ahead of the other Baudry. So it's...
He's gonna have to get out of the way for his brother pretty soon. And that's what he does, breaks late and leaves... both of them actually leave both of them going through pretty easily. I was gonna say, will Max try to come out behind his brother to try and help him out a bit, and held up Michaud just that bit more, but no, he was very generous and let Michaud pass as well. As the gap for the lead for Boivin and Lebrec is staying pretty much the same. 0.5 seconds, 0.4 seconds. So we're shaping up for a battle later in this race. As you were saying, Lebrec is using the curves very aggressively here compared to Boivin. However, I'm wondering how that's hurting his tires.
It's probably scrubbing them a little bit more, because every time that Lebrec goes on the offensive, which is what he's doing now, I mean, going through turn 11 down into this very, very steep descent through into mineshaft. As I said earlier, you're pushing nearly 250 kilometers an hour in 6th gear. You're going through this fast left-hand kink, hard on the brakes. You're going to drop down probably at least to 3rd, maybe 2nd through the crocodiles. You then got to power out of the corner, and Lebrec runs a little bit wide on the runoff area. He's got to be wary of those crackers. And he's just, you know what I said about that sausage curb, Lebrec's just hit it, and it nearly spat the back end out to the left-hand side, but he managed to keep it together, keep the momentum carried through. Gap between Boivin and Lebrec as they come across the line to complete lap number 23 has gone up from just under 4/10 to just over half a second.
It's not gonna be here, it's gonna be after the pit stop, probably the battle they're gonna have, unless one of them makes a mistake, as Dubé is in the back of that Bentley of Baisden. He's gonna get the slipstream down the straight. This is for the 4th place. And is he gonna be close enough for the move down turn 2? He moves up down the inside a bit, but thinks better about it and moves back behind Baisden. But Baisden goes out wide into turn 2. And that's gonna give Dubé a good run. He's gonna try down the inside. Oh, that was close. They nearly touched. Dubé nearly tagged the left side of that Bentley, but Baisden is still in front right here. So it's a very nice battle for 4th place. at this moment with 20 minutes to go in this race. So Dubé making a very nice race here and battling for 4th place. So quite nice to see that. Basin also in 4th place, that's great to see. So these two are gonna battle it out. Dubé was quite a bit faster than Basin this last lap. He was 2/10 faster, and Basin went wide a bit during the lap. So yeah, Dubé putting on the pressure of that Bentley and anxious to get in 4th place.
I would imagine that Basin at the moment, I mean, that Bentley is one of the heaviest, if not the heaviest GT3 car. Because when you think about it, the Continental GT itself, the road-going car, they had M Sport, who originally developed the concept, had to strip a significant amount of pounds out of that car. I think it was like over 500 kilos they managed to strip from the road-going car to make it into a GT3 racer. But you could just see the closing speed. I would wonder if Basin, with that additional weight in that car, those tyres are starting to go off the cliff. Dubé sweeps to the outside through into Crowthorns, is going to go side by side round the outside of Basin. Is going to try and get the inside line. They nearly touch going through the Jux K sweep, but Dubé keeps out of harm's way, and that's very, very good driving. I mean, Dubé, didn't he do something like that earlier through that same point? That's his sweep over.
He tried to do the same thing here on Basin, but very good defensive driver. But Basin, oh, he gets loose a bit there, and that's gonna give Dubé a good run. Yeah, got loose a bit, nearly lost the car there, but yeah, very defensive driving by Basin in that straight line. Their start and finish straight, very defensive. Dubé tried to go down the outside very deep on the brakes, and we've seen it earlier in the race. Didn't work this time, however.
No, Cardo and YouTube's cheering on Basin at the moment to keep a hold of that 4th position. Great to see the Bentley represented here in this championship. I mean, the Bentley Continental GT3 and a lot of other GT3 leagues that I've commentated on sometimes doesn't get the love it really, really, truly deserves. It was a great car, especially in the wet. But Dubé in that Ferrari, you know, that's a lighter vehicle. It's mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, 3.9-litre twin-turbo V8. A significant amount of torque displacement usable from the back axle of that prancing horse, the Cavallino Rampante in Italian. As you can see, Dubé closing in on coming out of Ingwe. Basin runs a little bit wide. And Dubé will have the slipstream right on board with the number 70 Test Racing out Ferrari 488 GT3. From the driver's view, there's a back marker up ahead, so blue flags are being waved. Dubé goes towards that sweet spot, and Basin loses it a little bit. Dubé's going to try and get the inside run for turn number 5 at Barbecue. He's got alongside the Bentley. It's side by side. Dubé does another howitzer of a move, and he's up into P4. Basin nearly got back at him there.
Very nice move by Dubé. Wow, very brave again. Very good move, and he's up into 4th place, so that develops into quite a good race for him. Up into 4th place, and it's not the first time we've seen it in the last season. Dubé always comes back in the race. We don't know necessarily where he qualifies. He's had some good qualifying sessions, but he's very quick in the race, and he's proving it once again right here in Kyalami. But Basin is not letting go.
Dubé qualified P5, so he was on the inside of row number 3, so he was behind Patrick Fourier and our pole sitter Ismail Abrek. With just over a quarter of the race remaining, I don't think this battle is going to fade away into the distance because Basin could get the jump. If he runs a little bit longer than Dubé, could give the number 52 an opportunity to hang on to that 4th position. But of course, then we've got the rest of the pit stop cycle, the 2 leaders yet to pit. Basin very close to the walls on the inside of Ingwe, but manages to run it over the runoff area. That's still 2 wheels within track limits. If all 4 wheels go out, you get an automatic track cut, so you'll be told by your heads-up display on your screens. There are back markers, which Dubé manages to negotiate, but that back marker now gets through in the way of Basin, but then gets out of the way. It's one of the Mercedes, but look who's not too far behind. It's Madore, Guillaume Madore in the 1-1, the 111 Audi. Whilst these two have been battling away, that Audi from EGT Motorsport in the Canadian flag colours is closing in on Baisden for P5 as they go through turn 6 at sunset.
1.5 seconds quicker than Baisden was Madore on the last lap, so he's closing it at a great speed. While they've been battling, and he wants to be a part of that party right here. See, he's very aggressive, even using the curbs, all the track he has at his disposal. He's using it as the McLaren may, this back marker here may have unsettled him a bit, but he's not gonna lose too much time, and he's still right on the back of Baisden, 7 tenths, and closing down. As we see, as we're in the 3rd sector, so we're now approaching for the maintenance, the start and finish straight. So we'll have to see if he's gonna be close enough to be in the slipstream of Baisden. He's at 0.8 seconds as he goes wide off that turn 15, that infamous turn 15. Wonder if he's got a bit of curb there, but Baisden went a bit wide actually in turn 16 at the last corner. So Madore might get well, he's gonna close in. He's not gonna be close enough for a move, obviously, but he might close in a bit. 0.7 the gap right now, and Baisden is not. Dube's not pulling away from Baisden right here. So this is very much gonna be a battle of for 4th place between these three guys. As Madore runs very wide here, getting some grass, cutting some grass here.
Some sparks flying from the rear diffuser as well. Big thank you to Alain Lyon, one of the team here at EGT Canada. General de Guise lost power at home for 2 seconds and has become one of the more recent DNFs. By my count at the moment, Nathaniel, we are down to 32 of the 41 drivers that took to the start. Just over 47 minutes ago. Not as much of an attrition rate as I was possibly fearing, but still to have over 30 cars running. For you folks at home, every single car in the top 15, the respective splits in Pro and in Silver, in order to qualify for points by finishing in the top 15, you have to finish the race. There's no 75% race distance rule here. It is you get across that checkered. If you're in 15th or you're in 1st, when you finish that race, you get points. Of course, as we found out last year, especially in the Pro-Am class, where, if I remember correctly, Melançon was the champion on countback after the season 5 finale at round 8 at Zandvoort last time out. The same rule applies here, but Madore really closing in on Baisden. I think what you said about Dubé not pulling away, I think maybe by battling so hard with Baisden, he's probably overcooked the rear tyres.
Yeah, it's a very good possibility here. You know, we've seen earlier in the race, he went deep on the brakes, he went deep on the brakes again with Baisden, and he tried multiple attacks. It didn't take. It took more time for him than it did earlier in the race with that move around the outside. So it may have well hurt his tires, but now he's starting to pull away a bit. 1.1 second from Baisden, as Madore is keeping that gap, keeping the pressure on Baisden, but Baisden does not seem too nervous in front of Madore's. Might have been a damage actually. I've seen from the left side of that Bentley. Yes, he has some damage. So it doesn't seem to be slowing him down though. However, running in 5th place.
There is an however, though, Nathaniel, sorry to cut across you there. There is a development in Silver. What on earth has happened to David Clermont? Was running in the lead, and I think might have stopped. Well, stopped on track by the track map that I'm currently seeing through the live timing. That he is, well, it's on the approach down through Mineshaft and into the Crocodiles. The 227 Porsche, I'm not too sure if he's still circulating. I'm going to refresh my timing.
Yeah, He doesn't seem to be there, so that seems to be a DNF, I believe, from Clermont. He's not appearing on my live timing as well. So I believe he is out of the race, unfortunately. What on earth has happened to him? As Baudry is now into the lead of the silver category, with Clermont being out of the race. What a development here.
Yeah, Johan Morency in the 194 Porsche now rounds out the top two, currently running in 12th overall. And Jeremy Delwart in the number 17 Ferrari in 14th position is running third. But keep your eyes, Jeremy Schneider, the driver that has made, in my estimation, he was running 4th in the silver class. He is still running 4th in class, but what's more, he is catching Delwart in the number 17 Ferrari. So keep your eyes on Schneider Racing's Jeremy Schneider. This could be a pretty good way for him to kickstart his season in the silver class as they go down the start-finish straight. I'm going to keep an eye on the time. Gap is nearly 3 seconds between the pair. There is the number 17 Ferrari of Delwart just in front of Schneider.
3-second gap, and it's closing in for Schneider. So we're going to have a nice battle here with 9 minutes remaining to this race. A lot of drivers haven't made their pit stops yet. Unfortunately, having a bit of technical issue, we can't see who has stopped and who hasn't. So that's very unfortunate. Well, we can see it on our live timing, however. So basically everyone in the top 10, so Boivin and Michaud in the top 10 haven't stopped. The first driver that has stopped in the standings is Bourdon in 11th place. He has pitted. Morency in 12th has not, however, and Racine in 13th has, as everyone else has down the grid. So from 13th to down the grid, they all have made at least one pit stop. Morency has not made his pit stop yet. Bourdon has made his pit stop, and everyone in the top 10 have not made their pit stops yet. So the top 10 is gonna be shaken up here in the 7 minutes 30 remaining for this race. As
I think also the silver class lead could be decided on this as well, because Baudry and Morency are less than 20 seconds apart. So Baudry has got to have a lightning quick pit stop. This could bring Delwart and Schneider into the battle for the silver class lead in the dying stages, as they both have pitted. So that's going to be interesting. Boivin and Labrec are now over 22 seconds clear of Boulanger in third place. So whether they're just trying to eke that out as much as possible, Boulanger, could he possibly, you know, Dubé, Baisden, Mador, Landry, Formato, they could all throw you know, try and throw the dice on, you know, on like the old casino table and see if they roll lucky number 7. But unfortunately for someone, they might roll snake eyes.
As Kevin Racine moved up into 12th place, we've seen overtaken Morency around the outside, and he's well clear already, and Michaud in the pits. So Michael Michaud is making his pit stop. We're gonna see where he comes out. We have Delworth. Yeah, he's gonna be probably in front of Delworth, who's just coming around here. Yeah, so he's gonna be very much clear. In 13th place for Michael Michaud. I believe he has a back marker coming. It's the Lexus of Marchand behind. He's gonna come out in front of him. So fortunately, he's gonna not lose too much time here. And,
right, Labrec in the pits. Labrec in pit lane. And Boivin is still going. So Ismail Labrec, Boulanger now in pit lane.
In the pits. So Lebrec is gonna come out in second place. He's gonna have to clear a bit of back markers, as we've seen the BMW of Alexis Moisan in front. So hopefully he doesn't lose too much time. Moisan does a good job to keep around the outside to let Lebrec go down the inside. We'll have to see when Boivin pits. Is it gonna be the next lap for Boivin?
I would think so, because look, Baisden, Landry, Formato, all are all in the pits. Baisden's gonna, Landry's got to stop go 30, speeding in the pit lane. Landry is out of the top 8, and that's going to really hurt his chances in getting a good opening score here at Kyalami. So Landry will have to serve that very, very quickly indeed. But if you don't serve your penalty, if memory serves me correctly, by the end of the race, Landry will have 130 seconds added to his race time. That's 2 minutes 10 seconds added, and that will drop him way down the order. That will probably even put him over a lap down. Boivin in pit road. Now, I'm going to keep an eye. Where is Lebrec? Coming down through mine shaft at the moment. The number 2, the second placed Honda, number 68. This is going to be a tight one. Boivin's going to make this a very, very quick pit stop as Lebrec makes his way through the crocodiles into now Cheetah at turn 15. Boivin stops on his marks. In the pit lane, the number 99, the Honda, the reigning and defending EGT3 Challenge champion. Lebrec out of Ingwe. Boivin now on the move, and he's got a very short run. He now guns the throttle. He's going to come out ahead of Lebrec. Lebrec has now got to get the pedal to the metal, and there he is. Lebrec has gone through into first with 3.5 minutes left to go.
So the strategy worked out for Lebrec. He overtakes Boivin for the lead, and there's 3 minutes 20 left to this race. So yeah, what a strategy here from Lebrec. Just keep it on with Boivin the whole way, and making a quicker pit stop than him. And yeah, that's the race lead for Lebrec. So he gets back his first place that he lost in the second lap. We'll have to see if Boivin closes on him. For right now, the gap is 9/10 of a second as we see Lebrec going very wide into the grass. A nice lead change as we've seen. Belanger is still in third place. Dubé, Madar in fifth. Madar has actually gone in fifth place in front of Baisden after the pit stops. Yes. Great to see, but we're just keeping an eye on our race leader here, Ismail Lebrec. What a performance by these two. I just, again, want to point out, just in a league of their own today. The two Hondas, very quick, clearly around Kyalami, and yeah, making the best out of their cars. And as Lebrec goes wide again, we've seen that the whole race. Lebrec using every bit of track he has, but he's got to be careful in this these last 2 minutes not to get a track cut and not to get a penalty. That would be very unfortunate for him after such a great race he's driven. As Dubé is not too far behind Belanger. What a race for Dubé. He's 6/10 away from Belanger here, putting the pressure on for the third place. Belanger in his Bentley, is he struggling a bit with his tires?
Who knows, but more importantly, the two leaders now on the penultimate lap. We're on to lap number 35 out of 36, because the minute that we hit the timer going 0, the drivers will be on their last lap. So Dubé closing on Boulanger. Gap between them is just under 7/10 of a second. The gap between Lebrec and Boivin, 1.2 seconds, with just over a minute to spare. Dubé trying to close on in. Dubé last time around, well, it was 1 minute 47.2 for the number 70 Ferrari, but look how close he is to Boulanger. They come out of turn 5 at Barbecue. Now the short run down. Dubé is going to look up the inside, shows his nose to Boulanger, thinks better of it going through turn 6 at Sunset, but he gets a good run through the apex. Great overspeed from the Ferrari. I think he could be lining up a move maybe down the start-finish straight. If he keeps within that distance, that will give him that window of opportunity. That will give him that slipstream on that Bentley, because that Bentley is punching a hole in the dirty air, and that's going to help Dubé, but it won't help his aerodynamics. It will make the Ferrari feel a little bit more skittish, a little bit more loose, so to speak.
So Dubé closing in. He wants that third place, obviously. would be a great result to have a podium in his first race. We'll have to see Lebrec. Yeah. So as you said, that was a penultimate lap. There's gonna be another lap here, as Lebrec is still 1.1 seconds in front of Boivin. So this has really worked out for him. And Dubé is still on the chase here for the last spot on the podium. Coming out of turn 16 now. He's gonna be very close to Belanger, and Belanger goes a bit wide. Dubé tucks in that slipstream, tucks it. Very defensive line by Belanger here.
He had to do that. He had to keep Dubé at bay. But going through into Crowthorns, here goes Dubé, look for the inside move. Belanger covers it off nicely there. Up now through the Jux K sweep. Dubé right on the back bumper of the number 22 Bentley as they go through the Jux K sweep for what's going to be the final time. Dubé was having a quick look up the inside of Belanger. The darkness is starting to fall. The track temperature now dropping to 26 degrees. But I'm keeping an eye on our leaders who are now coming through Loikop turn 10 for the final time, because this is the 36th and final lap. Down out of turn 11. Through into the mine shaft for the final time. It's been a battle royale between the two Hondas, and it's as they were just 60 minutes ago. Lebrec has got breathing space. There is an Audi in the middle between him and Boivin as Lebrec makes his way through turn 14, through Cheetah. One more corner to negotiate, and the opening round of Season 6 here at EGT3 Challenge at EGT Canada is the number 68 of Ismail Lebrec, who wins the race with a great undercut strategy. The defending champion, Jonathan Bouvard, rounding out the top two. What a drive from the two, like you said, Nathaniel, both of them, but it's not over yet between P3 and P4.
Yeah, Dubé is still on Belanger. Nice race by our top two. And it's not over for the third place, as Dubé is still behind. Belanger has built that gap. I don't believe Dubé is gonna be close enough, and it's Belanger is gonna take the last spot on the podium here, third place, with Dubé close behind in fourth place, with Madar in fifth. Baisden was also very close to Madar. And very good strategy by Medal overtaking Baisden in the pits. We're seeing Formato here come down the pit straight with Bourdon close behind as well. So we had a lot of battles on the last lap, as we see Kevin Racine in his boatley, as he likes to call it, finish in 9th place. With Michaud rounding up the top 10. And we're looking here at Jonathan Baudry here, the leader in the silver category, making his way around the corner, around the last corner, and Jonathan Baudry is gonna take the win, the first win of the season for the silver category, as we see him waving, celebrating his very nice race. Unfortunately for Clermont, we don't know what happened to him. Delworth in second place, and Morancy in third place, running on the podium for the silver class, as we see Schneider. And in fourth place, Thibodeau. In fifth place, Landry. Is Landry running out of gas?
He's run out of fuel.
Yeah.
He's run out of fuel. That thing is at a crawl. He's on the reserve tanks right now. Landry, that's... And big thank you to Julien, saying that Clermont has just informed us that he lost connection. That's why he's out of the race, as Landry's Lamborghini is crawling. That is at a snail's pace and crosses the line with literally fumes in that 5.2 litre V10.
Just crosses the line.
Wow.
Unfortunate race for Landry. Obviously been caught up in the accident at the start of the race after getting that penalty, and now he's run out of fuel. So this hasn't been the round he was hoping for. Fortunately for him, he's a very quick driver. Marc-Antoine Landry, very quick driver. So he's for sure gonna want to make up those lost points in the next few rounds. As yeah, very great race we've had here at Kyalami. So we're gonna go over again our top 10 overall, we had Lebrec winning, Boivin second, Bélanger running out the podium with Dubé, Mandor, Bazin, Formato, Bourdon, Racine, and Michaud, with Baudry taking the win in the silver category. Delworth second, Morancy third, Schneider fourth. Very good race for him. Thibodeau in fifth place, Danik Valley in sixth place, Vincent Raw in seventh, Nicholas in eighth, Simon in ninth, and Serge Martin running up the top 10 in the silver category. This has been a great evening with everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This has been a very good race, Alex. Lots of action. Obviously, the first few laps, you had a bit of contact, had a bit of quite a bit of accidents between some drivers. Unfortunately, having their races ended prematurely. Thinking of Fournier in the Porsche number 3 that was running in third place. But apart from that, we've was very clean. It came very clean. Became very clean afterwards. So we've had a very great race here at Kyalami, Alex.
Yeah, definitely the case, Nathaniel. I mean, merci à tous, tous les pilotes de course aujourd'hui, ce soirée. Merci beaucoup à tous. Yeah, I mean, Lebrec and Boivin in a class of their own. I mean, it was a real shame about David Clermont, but, you know, he will come back from that. He will make sure that things will be ready for 2 weeks' time at Circuit of the Americas on the 28th of September. You know, it's a couple of weeks. I mean, obviously, there's a lot going on at EGT Canada. You know, there's a lot of the, you know, of course, there's the EGT podcast. There's also the ETCR, you know, the ETCX, which we've just had quite recently, the opening round of that. But yeah, there's lots to come. As always, we can't thank our backers here at EGT Canada. A big thank you to Centre Porsche Québec and Next Level Racing, and also all the team behind the scenes here at EGT Canada. I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure being alongside you. There you see your calendar. So round 2, Circuit of the Americas. Then we've got October the 11th, Hungaroring, Watkins Glen, which is a fantastic circuit. It's going to really test the drivers. A very technical circuit in its own right. Very tight sweeping corners, but also some very, very good overtaking opportunities. Silverstone, fast, furious, and apps. That's when you've got to have balls to the wall, if you pardon the expression. But then Indianapolis Motor Speedway is going to be a fine way to finish the season on, you know, in the penultimate week of November. But yeah, this has just started things off, and we know that round 2, everyone's going to come with their A game, all guns blazing. And we hope that you're all watching at home. Thank you very much for joining us. That we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
And we want to invite you on the 15th of September, this Thursday, in 2 days' time, for the first race of the PECCQ Championship. So the Porsche Cup, thanks to Porsche Centre Porsche Québec, sponsoring this series. So the Porsche Cup round 1 will be at Kyalami again, so be sure to tune in, and that is gonna be actually streamed by the Centre Porsche Québec's different media, so social media. So be on the lookout for that, and we want to thank you all for tuning in to this wonderful race here at Kyalami, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the next race of this EGT3 Challenge Championship. See you all.
Par l'aspiration, il devrait avoir l'avantage. Est-ce qu'on réussit? On se place à l'intérieur, on se touche!
On a été très patient.
Belle lutte quand même. Et là,
alors qu'on a un accrochage ici.
Est-ce qu'on va tenter de croiser qui n'est pas le meilleur endroit pour dépasser? Oui! Incroyable!